and welcome to episode 9 of Drama and Theatre Grade 9. Today we will talk about the performance. And what I have done is I have divided into 3 phases, and I will show you the 3 phases. It's very simple. It's what happens before the performance, what happens during the performance, and what happens after the performance. All these 3 steps or periods in time, they are important, because if you focus too much on the performance, you can go wrong. So I will start with before. Not everyone is happy enough to be rehearsing at the same place as where you have the performance. So that means before you enter the stage and the room, the theater, whatever it is, you have to see what is different. Maybe the distances has to be cut a little, or it has to be a little longer. I'm thinking you have been rehearsing to take 3 steps in, and now all of a sudden you have to take 7 steps in while saying something. And this is something you have to adjust yourself to. Everybody in the group should be given the time to see how the room changed the action, because that is the fact. What also changed is the acoustic in the room. So even here, I recommend everyone to stand on the stage and talk to the room, or to someone who stands at the back of the room, just to see if the voice is reaching out there. And just remember, when you have a lot of people in the room, the acoustic will change. It will go from what we call normally a dry acoustic with a strong echo to something that is a little bit more wet. That means the sound is absorbing. So one more thing to think about when it comes to before is to have like a time frame before the performance. Maybe I'm extreme. I use 2 hours before a performance, so everybody has to be on set to do a warm-up. Then they have the time to go through their private things and the costumes and the props and everything. And then just before the performance, we meet the whole group one more time to make like a pep talk. So even if you have decided to only have 30 minutes before the performance, everybody should be there. This helps also because all kind of like rituals or time frames, it helps your nerves to stay where they should be staying, actually. Otherwise you can lose control and you can get in panic very easily. So during this 40 minutes or 30 minutes or 2 hours, you do exactly the same thing over and over again if you are repeating the performance many times. Another thing to think about when we are talking about before the performance is that many people act differently, and you will see people all of a sudden start to run to the toilet, and some people, they start to laugh and talk in a very strange way they have never done before. And some people like to hide. They just disappear. After the gathering, they just disappear, and no one knows where they are. But they show up right in time. Just think about to focus mostly on yourself and what you are doing later in the performance. Focus on yourself. If you need to go through lines, sometimes that can help, but I don't recommend it. But respect how other people act, because they will start acting strange, I promise you. Just respect them and let them do what they are doing, as long as they don't disturb you. Now, to the performance. What can happen now? It's related to the panic I was talking about before. is that some people will, for them there will be a shock when they enter the stage and they feel the presence of the audience the first time. And I can't really help you with this. It can happen. It can happen. You can't prevent it because we are not really prepared to stay on stage in front of hundreds of persons. It's a stress reaction, and your heart starts to beat and you don't remember anything, and you can't say it because you don't have any breath anymore. You can't talk. Of course, all the rehearsing and the preparation, I have showed you some in the last episode, prepare you in a better way to not be in a shock, but it can happen. Important now is also to keep in mind that people not on stage, they should also focus on what is going on stage and mentally support their friends on stage. That means they are sending positive energy to them, and as soon as they exit the scene, they will have a support and a preparation, and then maybe they go back on stage again. So think about supporting each other, not focusing on other things, calling your grandmother or anything behind, backstage, so to speak. What more? Just a reminder, try to keep it calm and take it easy. It's very easy. The stress will create some kind of tempo that is not there. You have not rehearsed it. So try to breathe. Try to be present, not thinking about what is my next line. That means you have already started to forget about the character. And the will of the character is what matters, not what the character says. The will and the lines come from the will and the actions as well. Last thing, important, because it's the last thing the audience will see. It's the bow. So I recommend you to already have rehearsed it before, because if there is a chaotic bow from the actors, it will be the memory for the audience that this was a chaotic performance. So try to rehearse the bow. And just remember, the bow is not for you to shine. It's not about that. It is for you to be humble, to thank the audience for being a part of sharing a story that you wanted them to take part of. So this is a humble way to thank the audience, not for you to shine. So, easy to forget. It's what happens after the performance. Because people are very excited, the actors want to talk to their parents or friends or whatever, and all of a sudden everyone has disappeared and there is only one person standing there taking care of everything, all the props, all the costumes. So it's good already from the beginning, remember, gather one more time after the performance. Talk about what can be improved or what has happened. Share your experience. Maybe share some positive feedback that you have already got. And then start to take care of your things. Maybe you have another performance the next day. So the best is now to put everything on the right place, all the costumes, all the props, everything, so it's prepared. So take time after the performance, even if it's only 10 minutes, but take the time for that and help each other, because that is also what theater is about. Performance is something you do together, all the way, from the preparation to the meeting with the audience and to the end where you are going through what has happened. So this is 3 things I want you to think about. the next episode, and that will be the final episode. It's about analyzing the performance. So we are taking the perspective of a knowledgeable audience now, and also talk a little about how to analyze the process of rehearsing for your group. Thank you for today.